Hey guys, Callous here, and I am back with more Callous Invitational 3 Round 4 lower bracket content, and that of course, being the lower bracket, means that this is an elimination match. We've got Jimmy Turtwig and Starmaster. You would think on paper that Starmaster is favored here. He's more of an ADV guy. I don't know if he's an ADV main. He's very versatile. He plays a lot of Oros, a lot of Little Cup. But he's certainly someone who is very good and very accomplished in ADV, and it's one of his main tiers. Jimmy is one of the most versatile players and one of the best overall old gen players. Got to be a top 5, 1 through 5 player as a whole in old gens, but I don't know that Gen 3 specifically is necessarily his area of expertise, but he's 2-1 thus far and has held his own for a non-ADV main playing in the elite ADV field, and this is also his first time in the CALLOUS Invitational, so Jimmy has definitely had a decent showing, and this will be a real test to see if he can get through Starmaster, one of the best ADV players and someone who made money in this tour just last year. So here is game 1 between them. So Jimmy's on the bottom, Star is on the top. And it's going to be a T-Tar and a Skarm respectively. Focus punch immediately on turn 1, and it will be a switch to Coon. The damage here will tell us a lot of things. Okay, 64%. That is either a CB-Tar, an offensive Coon, or both. But that did way more than it would do to a bulky Pokemon like a traditional Combine Surf Rest Roar Coon. And it does have Roar, so I don't know if that's an offensive Roar Coon or, again, if it's just a CB Tar, but that was a very high damage roll. Here comes Blissey switching in on Gar. Going to be burnt immediately. And see what Bliss wants to do back. T-Tar comes in here. And Ice Beam will tell us right now if we have, well, he's going to tell us whether he has lefties regardless of the freeze, but Ice Beam's certainly going to be helpful for Star. And yeah, not surprisingly, T-Tar does not have leftovers. Like I said, think it's a choice expander. And here comes Dugtrio switching in for Starmaster, trying to trap the frozen T-Tar and kill it, but is unsuccessful in that endeavor. Spike Slayer number 1 comes down for Jimmy. And Spike Slayer number 1 for Star. 2 for Jimmy. We've seen this many times in the tour where Skarms can't actually do anything to each other, so they just sit there and spike up. In this instance, Star actually does have taunt, so he's able to prevent the third layer of spikes from coming down for what that's worth. And that's going to prompt in the Gengar for Jimmy, and Spike's layer number 2 for Star. So 2 layers for each guy at this moment, and Gengar, of course, can pressure the Skarm, but not the Bliss. Here comes Bliss, and Will-O-Wisp was the attempt on the switch-in, does not connect. See what they both want to do from here. We've seen only Ice Beam from Bliss. She gets taunted here to prevent Soft Boiled, which is what she went for, so that will be blocked. And here comes Skarm. Fire Blast on the way in. That's going to hurt. That's going to catch Jimmy off guard. And at least the Skarm is faster, as shown by the lefties, but Blissey would knock it out with a Fire Blast, pending a miss, of course, and she doesn't go for it. She takes the opportunity to soft-boiled up. That's going to enable Skarm to get the third layer down, not that Bliss could have stopped that anyway, since the Skarm is faster, but Skarm is still in range to where Fire Blast would be an issue, but now after this protecting lefties, should be out of range. The last Fire Blast did 57%. It's currently sitting at 61. Toxic and Ice Beam, as opposed to Fire Blast here. I think he's nervous about Fire Blasting into the T-Tar because that would get rid of its freeze. Any move that can cause a burn instantly thaws a frozen Pokemon, so I think he's trying to be really careful about not accidentally undoing his own freeze. So we have 3 layers and 2 respectively. Jimmy out of the way because he knows that the opposing Skarm does have taunt, but Star wisely opts for spikes on the switch as opposed to what would have been a taunt on the Gengar. So both players have 3 layers. Unclear if either one has a spinner. Neither player has shown a Pokemon that can learn Rapid Spin, but there are still 2 unrevealed for both. There's Taunt, and there's Ice Beam. Gengar pretty bulky, which is unsurprising given that it is a WoW Taunt set, and that's going to be 27% from the Ice Beam. Blissey gets out of the way. A previously unrevealed Jirachi comes in, and Thunderbolt is going to be the attack. It's going to do 24%. Jirachi takes it relatively decently. It's just making its first appearance, so we don't know anything about it, but Gengar's got to worry about the potential of Psychic here, and that is what Rachi goes for. It's straight Psychic. Blissey came in for Jimmy to take that, 14%, but she did have to step on those spikes in order to do that. Here's a Wish and a Soft Boiled respectively. Let's see, Skarm at a hundo, Coon is low, really low after spikes. Blissey 45%, Dugtrio a hundo, and of course Rachi could just eat it for itself. Which is what happens here. Rachi stays in and Calm Minds, receives its own Wish, and is back up to 100%. Gengar comes in here thinking there might be an Earthquake. There is, and it's going to blank on the levitating Pokemon. Swampert could threaten it here with a Hydro Pump, but Gengar, of course, could have a Grass attack as well. Shows Will-O-Wisp. That doesn't mean that he doesn't have a Grass attack, but he does not show it there. Swampert has to be careful for sure. Blissey's going to come in, stepping on the 3 layers. And it is just Will-O-Wisp again. So if Star does have a Grass attack, he's being stingy about showing it. And we now know that Star does not have a Rapid Spinner. Jimmy may or may not. Last Poke Star or Doll are both possible, though there are other things that I think would be more likely. But those 5 are like the core standard of ADV, so it definitely could be a Last Poke Star. I mean, it could also be a Metagross, a Salamence, a Dugtrio, but it's not impossible that it's a spinner, though I do think it is unlikely. Ice Beam from Blissey from Jimmy is going to connect with the Skarm on the other side. Blissey's getting low, 39% in Burnt against a Pokemon that we know has Taunt. Gengar comes in thinking there will be a Taunt, and that is a correct prediction for Jimmy. Star ends up taunting the Gengar, and that probably is going to prompt the Skarm out of the way. Jirachi comes in, see if he burns it. No, he goes Thunderbolt. Oh, my bad, he was taunted there. He couldn't Will-O-Wisp. I was going to say, Will-O-Wisp seems like a better play there, but no, he was taunted. He didn't even have that option. Now he goes Will-O-Wisp, but he knows Rachi has Psychic, and that is what happens. Star goes straight Psychic there. He doesn't get a Wish or a Calm Mind off, but it's going to cost the Gengar his life, and turn 31, that's going to be the first knockout of the game. Starmaster is going to take the 6-5 lead. Rachi's still burnt, of course. Psychic 28%, would die to Earthquake here, but it's going to be an over prediction for Jimmy. He's going to go Hydro Pump, possibly thinking that the opposing Gengar was going to come in on the Earthquake. Protect. And Psychic, okay, that would have been a bad Protect turn had that enabled Star to get a free Wish off, but that is not what happened. Star very well may Wish here. He also might just Psychic on the way out so the Dugtrio can do its thing. And he opts for that route. He's going to take a more offensive route, and he's going to try to go blow for blow and finish off this Swampert. So it's really low now. Not low enough, Star determines, to get him with Dugtrio, especially after Protect for more lefties. But Swampert is going to be in a tough position now because of the 3 spikes. So he's going to have a really hard time coming in the future. In fact, Jimmy might not even try it here. He stays in, goes Hydro Pump. He's going to miss Hydro Pump twice in a row, unluckily. Those are 80-20s each time, so that's mathematically improbable. But the last poke actually is a potential Rapid Spinner in Starmie. It could just be an offensive Star, but it also could have Rapid Spin. Here's Gengar to try to block that. And Hydro Pump is going to nail it for 60%. So Gengar would die to the faster Starmie, confirmed by the sand, with basically any attack, pending a miss. Jimmy's not comfortable, though. I'm surprised he doesn't go Thunderbolt or Ice Beam there. Either one would have killed the Gengar. I don't understand the switch there for Jimmy. Even if your only attack is Hydro Pump, which in and of itself seems very unlikely, I still think I would have gone for it there. I don't understand the switch from Jimmy's end. Gengar would have been killed there. But yeah, Jimmy saw it differently. That looks to me like it was a misplay and like you should have stayed in. Maybe Jimmy knows something I don't. I'm very curious about that switch. That seemed like a very obvious turn to stay in and attack. Skarm and Bliss now. Here's Toxic and S-Toss respectively. 29% on the S-Toss. We know the full set of the Skarmory from Starmaster. Spikes, Taunt, Toxic Whirlwind. Does not have Protect. Skarm comes in for Jimmy, and it will be immediately taunted. I don't know that I understand that switch either, because one of two things was going to happen there. You're either going to get taunted or you're going to get whirlwinded. In either case, going to your own Skarm I don't think accomplishes much there. Gonna struggle here before being whirlwinded out. And here comes Starmie. See what it wants to do now. It's only shown Hydro Pump up to this point. Still doesn't like it. He pulls it back. I don't understand. Toxic was the play, so he goes to his own T-Tower. I guess he's hoping for a Desperation Thaw here, and it would be devastating if he thawed here and killed the Bliss, but he does not. He still can, though. He's going to be faster, so he can thaw right here and kill it, potentially, but he does not again. He'll still have an opportunity to thaw here and do big damage. And again, it doesn't happen. And this is going to be a 4th turn in a row where he could thaw here and do big damage. And still no. And he will now have a 5th opportunity in a row to thaw. And if he doesn't do it this time, he will die. And Jimmy's going to concede. Interesting. I don't know why you wouldn't at least try it one more time before conceding. But Jimmy is not even going to give it another shot. I guess he's frustrated, and he's just going to concede. There were a couple of plays there. I mean, Jimmy played it pretty well overall, but there were a couple plays there that I do question. I still don't know why the Starmie switched out of the Gengar there. It seemed like a clear-as-day opportunity to attack it. And then I also don't understand forfeiting right there. I think I would have at least played it out one more turn to see if the T-Tar thaws. But again, maybe he was just frustrated. Freezes are very aggravating, especially when you give yourself a bunch of opportunities to thaw and it doesn't come. So I get it. And yeah, that is going to be that. It's going to be Game 1 to Starmaster, and we will see if he can close them out or if Jimmy can rally back. Game 2 coming up next.